Yo, what's up? What's going on? This your boy Dante, just coming to you. Just want to talk to you guys. Last night I was watching Good Times, right? The TV show that was on in the 70s, rather. When I was watching the show, I was watching the episode when Florida went back to school. Everybody don't seen the episode. But man, when I was watching the episode, I began to really see the Willie Lynch syndrome really in that particular show, and we missed it. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that in that letter it talks about dumbing down the black man. Again, a lot of people may say, well, Dante, what are you talking about? But I'm not a racist, you know what I'm saying, but I am for my people. And the more I read the Word of God, the more I study the Word of God, the more I understand the Word of God, I'm realizing that we are the people of God. Again, I'm not shunning people that are non-black, saying that they cannot be the people of God, because the Gentiles were able to become children of God too because of their belief in Jesus Christ. So I can't really, say that they're not the people of God now spiritually. But the thing is, I'm not so much caught up on, the thing, but I do want to talk about, us as a people, and if you read the Willie Lynch syndrome letter, I'm going to put the actual link where you can go read the whole letter, or the chapters of that letter below, so you can read it. So it will be down there, so you will be able to see it. I think that a lot of people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6 tells us that my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And I think that our churches and a lot of people do not teach this. We definitely didn't learn it in school, because had we learned this in school, we definitely would have changed our mentality by now. I was in school in the 80s and 90s, and now I'm seeing this generation that's coming up behind me. They've really been dumbed down because of what we was taught, and we can only teach to the level of our knowledge. So it's important and it's imperative that we get knowledge. You know what I'm saying? The Bible tells us in Proverbs 4:7, in all you're getting, get understanding, because wisdom is a principal thing, but in all you're getting, get understanding. So at the end of the day, we have to get understanding of the wisdom that we should know, and that God has given us. It's just some things that we as a people can do. We know how to survive. We know how to, make things happen. We know how to go in the cabinet and we got nothing but some beans and some rice. We know how to make it into a meal. We don't to do that, but now we've gotten to a place now we don't just see that we have beans and rice. We're looking at the fact that no matter, that's all we have. But you got to understand, there are some people that don't have anything to eat. So again, I'm going to come in twofold. You know how I do. I come in a spiritual fold and I come in a natural fold. And I just want people to realize who you are as a people. And I'm sick of seeing my black brothers and my black sisters divided. That we're better than the next man. We're all black. We've gotten to the point now to where even where when you identify yourself, I'm a light skin, I'm dark skin, I'm brown skin, we're black. I don't care if you're light skin, brown skin, or dark skin. When the white man see you, trust me, they see a black person. I almost said the N-word, but y'all pray for me. But seriously, I'm watching the Florida episode, goes back to school episode of Good Times, man. It blew my mind. And I'm going to show you little excerpts of it, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to give you a little synopsis because the episode was long. So I'm going to show you a little glimpse and pieces of what I'm talking about. But it was James, the patriarch of the family. And that's what the black family saw in the 70s. We was able to see a black family go through the struggle together. Saying, just a woman struggling with the kids. James was there in the family. He did what he had to do. But I think that the white man, and when I say the white man, because white men have been evil from the beginning, and they have taken things to the next level. And then black people took the baton, and we went on with it a little further. So they say they give us the baton and we'll keep running. And that's what's happened. Again, I don't have anything against white people. I don't hate them. I don't. You got to hear my heart. But I'm just saying, let's just look at the man in the mirror and deal with it. And again, churches don't teach this. We don't teach who we are, as a people. We are a people that God has called and chosen, but because we will not do what we're supposed to do, then we're constantly in captivity. And I will speak about that later on because I'm not going to be here long. But when I was watching the Good Times episode, James came in, had just got a good job. He was very happy. He felt like, I just got a promotion. I'm excited, because again, the show was called Good Times. But if you look at the show, you really didn't see any really, really good times as far as economically. You saw them, laughing and, just dealing with what they had and enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? And that's most of the struggle for the black people, for the ordinary family. We'll struggle, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wasn't privileged like the Cosbys, and they put the Cosbys on the show, on the TV, and then next thing you know, we begin to identify with lawyers and doctors, and most of our families haven't seen that, but most of our families seen what happened on Good Times. With Good Times, James was excited. Florida comes in, she's excited, because she signed up for school, and don't get me wrong, I have no problem with a black woman, advancing herself. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is when a black woman walk out the Willie Lynch syndrome in the family. You know what I'm saying? As a helpmate, that's what we're supposed to be. It's not the man supposed to be more superior or think himself better. But as a man, you're supposed to be the head. You're supposed to protect your family. You're supposed to provide for your family. If that woman can't do it, if your woman can't do it, they really need to make a way for it to happen. But if you read Willie Lynch syndrome, you'll see a little bit more. And Good Times was depicting, what the black family should look like. It was showing that, hey, we're supposed to do this together. We're supposed to struggle together. We're supposed to come up together. It ain't supposed to be I come up and you be left behind. In the episode, Florida, she comes in, she's very excited. She's telling, James, hey, I'm getting ready to go back to school. I'm happy. You know what? I think that, instead of me talking about it, I'm just show y'all now. Let me tell you this. I'm not good with this video thing. I'm new to all this. But, when I was watching it last night, it just really hit me in my head. I'm like, whoa. I didn't realize this. So now I'm starting to look at things with a different eye. And I'm not going to say I'm conscious because there's a lot of people that are conscious. I'm awoke. I'm awake to what's going on around me now. I'm awake to the devices that the devil has used to trick us for so long. But it's time for us to wake up, not become conscious, because there's a lot of people that are in a comatose state. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's time to wake up, and really realize what's going on. Because if you talk to some coma patients, they'll tell you, I heard what you were saying, but I just couldn't respond. And this is what's going on with the black people. We're in a comatose state. We can hear what's going on around us, we just can't respond. And it's time for us to wake up and to be able to respond and say, hey, I see what's going on, and do something about it. So again, I'm going to kind of flip it around a little bit and show you the episode I'm talking about. Again, this is on YouTube. I had to pull it up, because I didn't want to put it on the TV, but I'm going to put it on YouTube because it helps me maneuver a little quicker. So let me go here. I'm going to pull it up right quick. One moment here.
James, that's wonderful. I'm so happy to get my high school diploma. I just enrolled in high school. I'm going to study for my graduate equivalency test, the GED. And anyone who passes it gets their diploma no matter how long they've been out of school.
Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't got no problem with her going to school. I'm really excited about black women, going to the next level. But look at what's going on here.
Oh, James, I'm sorry. I got carried away with myself. Tell me all about your job.
It's an assistant foreman job. I really got lucky.
Well, honey, that is so wonderful. And I got lucky, too.
Lord, it's a good job. I got a chance to work my way up. It's got a future.
Me, too. With a high school diploma, I'm bound to do better.
Florida, your listening ain't caught up with your talking yet. trying to tell you I got the best job I ever had. You ain't even getting excited.
But James, I am excited. You're getting the break you always deserve, but so am I.
Yeah, but where you come off making a big decision like that without talking to me about it first?
James, I never thought you'd be against me going to school.
Well, it's not that far. It's just that in this family, we always talk things over before we make a big decision like that.
You're right, James. I should have asked you first, and I'm sorry. So I'm going to ask you now. I'd like to go back to school. Is it okay with you?
No. No, we have talked about it and made a decision.
James, what's wrong with me going to school? You won't be seeing me for 3 nights a week. But when you see me, I'll be a better me.
I don't need no better you, baby. I like you just the way you are now.
Daddy, why don't you let Mom go back? You're always telling us that a good education is the most important thing you can have.
Well, that's true, Selma, but
You haven't changed your mind, have you?
no, Mike. Look, at y'all's age, I mean, going to school makes sense. But your mother's school days are long behind her now. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Who's an old dog?
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it that way. Now, what?
You're never supposed to learn. Yeah, we can help Mom with the homework. Yeah.
How come you never made me that offer?
Because you can't teach a dumb dog nothing.
James, I'm only trying to improve myself. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't go.
Because I say no.
That's the one that always stops me.
No, Dad, maybe you should let Ma go to school. She have it now. She wouldn't even have to study.
What do you mean by that, Jason?
Well, why do you study? To get good grades so your parents will sign your report card. And Ma, it is obvious that you are old enough to sign your own report card. You have eliminated the middleman. Get out of here, I'm eliminate you.
James, I don't understand you.
Now, just wanted to show you that, real quick. Going into what I was talking about. Again, it's not nothing wrong with. I think sisters, you getting yourself together. I have no problem with that at all. But the thing is that I have a problem with when I was watching the episode was that I think James' biggest issue was we didn't talk about it. See, the thing is now we have relationships and people now they're making decisions without talking to nobody, and then when the bad happened, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I should have talked to you. You know what I'm saying? It's all about communication. It's all about us talking. And one thing about black people, we don't have dialogue. We talk at each other. We don't talk to each other. And then if you notice in the episode how the children immediately went to protecting the mom, and that's one thing about us as people. I'm a son and I love my mom. And we don't give credit to where credit is due. If it wasn't for fathers, there would be no sons, no daughters, no nothing. So we have to start giving more honor to our black men. You know what I'm saying? I mean, black men, they're being emasculated, and again, I'm not putting down anybody, but I'm just saying, when it come down to it, as a whole, we got to build one another up. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole, especially when it comes to marriage. I'm not even married, but I'm learning now, what I want my marriage to look like. I want us to be able to talk and make decisions together, not so much of you just go out here and buy a car and then next thing you know, you pull up at the house and you're driving a new ride. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that should have been something we talked about because that can impact the whole family. If you want to go back to school, that's great, but let's talk about it. Let's make sure it's in the budget. And a lot of times we do things like this, and if you really if you check the studies, the biggest thing that tear up a family is money. And people, when they can't make it, they get stressed out, and before you know it, there becomes arguments, and then next thing you know, there's separation. And again, the Willie Lynch syndrome teaches this, and I'm going to play an excerpt from the letter as well, so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. That I'm not making it up, because the thing is that if you break the black man down, then the family will break down. The dynamics will change. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times, a black family, most of us have saw our black fathers either not there, or when they was there, they were cheating, they were, drinking, drugging, or they was in prison. It just wasn't there. And so at the end of the day, we grow up and become the same thing. I didn't grow up with a godly man in my life, and I didn't grow up with a man in my life, period. You know what I'm saying? I had older brothers, but they only could teach me to the level of their knowledge. And so now that I have more knowledge, then when you have more knowledge, then much is given, much is required. It's required for me to live differently. It's required for me to help my fellow man. It's required for me to look out for my people. It's required, you know. And so when you really get to the end of the episode, in the episode, it talks about how Florida, had talked to Willona, and Willona kind of, her girlfriend told her, you know what, go back to school, girl. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could do this thing. And like I said, sometimes when you're in a relationship and you married and you got a boyfriend or whatever the case may be, y'all doing the thing, don't allow other people from the outside to come in and infiltrate that, because you notice Willona in that whole show, she was single. She didn't really have nobody. She was by herself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was by herself. And so when it comes down to it, we got to really understand that when it comes down to us as a people, we got to make sure the family unit is tight. Once the family is tight, then it's hard to infiltrate anything else. I mean, the church is even made up of families. And a lot of times even families can't get along. Then they go to church and they shout and dance and praise God, but you can't even get along. And so one, we got to do what it says in 2 Chronicles 7:14. We got to humble ourselves and pray. We got to talk to God. Prayer is not one way, God, give me. Prayer is God, speak back to me. Who wants to have a conversation by themselves? If somebody came to you 24/7, only asking you questions and wanting you to respond by doing, and they won't listen to what you have to say, because a lot of times, if I'm the kind of brother that if I look out for you financially, if I question you, like, bro, I've helped you out 4 or 5 times, what's going on? You shouldn't get an attitude with me. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, as a people, I want us to, recognize who we are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and let me go ahead and play that excerpt from Willie Lynch Letter, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about when it was talking about if you break down the dynamics, far as if the female, which if you go back to the beginning, and if you read the Bible, it talks about how Adam, when he saw Eve, he was blown away. It was a creation that God made that blew him away. So women, you have control. Even in Genesis 3, it talks about when the serpent, beguiled her or tricked her, she was able to give it to her husband, because see, the thing is, a husband or a man, he's attracted to women. That's a natural instinct, and because of different things that have been pushed on us, it's certain things that now is breaking down the black man. Now, like I said, it's the homosexuality agenda is being pushed. Lasciviousness is being pushed on the black man. When you look at everything that's going on in the world, it has a black face, and that's not what God called us to be. I mean, some things that we just shouldn't be, but yet we are those people. We about that fame, we're about that money. And if you go over into Luke 4, if I'm not mistaken, it talks about how Jesus had came off a fast, and he was hungry, and people know when you're starving, they know when you're going through. What they do is they present something before you, and that's what the devil did to Jesus. He knew that Jesus was hungry, so he told him, look, if you be the Son of God, turn these stones into bread. So he wanted, Jesus to become a witch, or to do magic. And Jesus said, I didn't come here for that. I came here to die on the cross so that I can redeem my people. I ain't come here for that. Then he took Jesus up on a high mountain and showed him, look, all these things you can have. Everything that you see, I give it to you if you bow down and worship me. And this is what we have fallen for, is that we have had people say, I give you this, I give you fame, I give you money, I give you whatever you want if you just bow down and worship. And we as a people have bowed down, and it's time for us to stand up. I'm just keeping it real. So I'm going to play a little bit of the Willie Lynch syndrome letter real quick, and then I'm going to come right back, say a little bit more, and then I'm out of here, all right? So let's go.
Of the subject matter concerning produced here in this breaking process of the female nigger. We have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state. She would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male, and she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise male offsprings to be dependent like her. Nature had provided for this type of balance. We reversed nature exchange by burning and pulling a civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen, independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent. What have you got? You've got the nigger woman out front and the nigger man behind and scared.
Now, I just had to stop it right there. So what it was saying in this letter, if you get the black woman to see black men being pulled apart, it was talking about how they would take a black man and they would put him in between two horses and, make the horse pull the man apart. And so what they would do is let the woman see this. So psychologically, she's messed up. She don't want to see anybody else go through that. She's traumatized. So what happens is that when it comes to her male children, she's very protective. I know this for a fact. My mom is very protective. And when, especially with the boys, I don't know why women, if you really look at it psychologically, you have women that are more hands-on with their sons and yeah. They love their daughters. They teach their daughters how to be independent. They teach their daughters, if I can do it, you can do it. You don't need a man. You can go get educated. You can get your own car. You can get your own house. You don't need a man, and the first thing that you do is that, and if you look at the ratio and the studies and statistics of it, most women own homes before black men. And the reason why is because they go to school, because they learn how to be independent. And that's something that's been taught down because of the Willie Lynch syndrome, which he said that will work for 300 years or more, has worked. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I'm not dogging anybody. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with black women getting themselves together. If you also heard, it says that a part of nature was that the woman depended on the man. But if you get that woman to stop depending on the man, because psychologically she's messed up and it's just her heart. She don't want to see another man hurt. So before she do that, she'll just go ahead and say, you know what, I'll just do it myself because at least I know that person's protected. But the thing is, they figured it out. They say, you know what? With us, that keep us humble and keep us submissive as a people. Because like I said, we got black people out here, some are just militant and they do what they do. But you have a lot of us, man, because we've seen the people in our communities get killed, or especially with this white cops killing blacks. We've seen that, and it's got us humble. We're scared. A police officer pull us over, we're nervous. We're immediately submissive. And again, don't get me wrong. You have to give respect. I get that. Give respect. As long as you respected me, I'm going to respect you. That's a given. You start at 100% of respect with me. But when you start tripping, I start, taking it away. And then once I've lost respect for you, it is what it is. But as a people, they say, if we kill down, shoot down a few, the black people in front of these people, and we've seen a lot of this now in 2017. We see on video now where people are getting gunned down. So what it does is psychologically, it puts terror in us. That it keep us obedient, it keep us subservient. It says, don't you say nothing out of character. And I respect that. When you go to work, yes, I'm not saying go to work and show out. Don't get me wrong. Please hear me in context, because I don't want nobody going to work popping off. Or, everybody they come in contact, they pop it off. No, you got to still understand who you are. But at the same time, when if they ever bring up the conversation, what I would say is don't back down. So my thing is this, I'm going to be cool. But as long as you don't give me a reason to speak what I feel to you, we good. I don't just go around telling people, you're drunk, or you're a punk, or you this, or you that. I don't do that, because at the end of the day, I don't have a reason to. And I don't go around telling people you ain't saved, you going to hell either, because I don't have a reason to. But if you bring up the conversation, then that's something totally different. When you open the door, I'm going to walk in. And so I'm not scared anymore. back in the day, I used to be so afraid, even to the point to where, my mom, and I love her, God knows I do, but she would say certain things, don't do that because of what people may say, don't do it. But as a man, I got to learn to be who I am. I'm going to take some punches. I'm going to take some bruises. It is what it is. And so when you look at the Good Times episode, going back to that, then I'm going to jump off here, is that when you look at the end of it, James eventually, came, thought about it and said, you know what, it ain't really a bad thing for my woman to do it, but if we're going to do it, we're going to do it together. Because James only had a 6th grade education himself. But at the same time, we saw the dynamics of a family. We saw a black man, a black woman, and his children. They was together. They was, and then if they started to realize that, hey, wait a minute, if we keep showing this to the black people, and they keep seeing this, then they're going to become this. And so what they did is they killed James off. They killed him off. By season 4, James is out of the picture. So now the dad is out the picture, and guess who's at the forefront? If you look at the Willie Lynch syndrome letter, it talks about put the woman in the front and the man will be behind her scared. Most men now, black men, are scared of child support. Most men to go out here and throw hands, but don't let a black woman say child support. If a black man hear child support, he runs. Because of the simple fact, we don't understand how, even as black women, we have depended on the system, or you guys have depended on the system, to the point now that the system has become your other man. So now we have black men in threesomes or in a menage a trois that they ain't asked for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, call it what you want to call it. Psychologically and emotionally, you got another person in your bed, in your whole relationship, and so they figured it out. You know what? If I can give this more than what he can, then she would stay subservient to me. She won't, you got women now, they'll have a dude come through and creep. I used to live in the hood. I used to live in Icewood Lee. Don't get it twisted. I used to live in projects and part of apartments in Lancaster. Man, come on, let's keep it real. You'll sneak that dude in at night, but you got to go. Because at the end of the day, we don't want the man to come in and see you here. And then we don't got to the point now where men have become so dependent on women. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't do anything on our own. It's like if a woman is not really there to push us, man, we're not doing it. And at the end of the day, we got to be able to have something to bring to the table. Matter of fact, we got to have a table to have somebody to put something on. But most men, black men at this time, we got more J's than we do money in the bank. We got more cars and rims than we do health insurance. You know what I'm saying? God forbid you die, we got to have a GoFundMe. This is not right. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, because we've been dumbed down, and mentally, because even in the letter it talks about you keep them, you dumb them down or break them down mentally, but keep them physically strong. So we got dudes out here, they're going to Planet Fitness. Matter of fact, got on a Planet Fitness shirt. Kind of weird I'm going there, but they're physically strong. But when it comes down to mentally, put them under pressure. Let a man, you hear a man say, you going to jail. Man, see, man, I watch First 48. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a dude will break down and start singing like a canary. Because at the end of the day, it's better you than me. And the thing is, I said something yesterday, is that as a people, it shouldn't just be about me. It shouldn't be just about me coming up. Because people know who I am, that's okay. But when people know who we are as a people, other than thugging out and making babies and showing our booties and crazy stuff, we should be known for the greatness of where we come from. We come from greatness. We come from greatness. When you look at the Bible, man, we're all up in there, man. I began to even think about Moses. I say, how could Moses go down and be raised in Egypt if he was a white man? Why would woman? Because we all are our own. So I'm just thinking, like, if Egypt, if Moses was able to blend in, that's an indication that he probably was black. They say his wife was black. So, but do you want to say that? Well, a white man, got with a black woman? Miss me with that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to know who we are. You know what I'm saying? We are the black-faced people. We are the people that, if you read over in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, it talks about how the people will be brought back from Egypt in ships. Now, we're not in Egypt over there. We're in Egypt over here. If you go to Washington, they say it's laid out like Egypt. So we've been brought back to Egypt. If you look at the back of the dollar, it's got the pyramid on it. So there are scenes that show us and indicate that we are in the common day Egypt. and we have been brought here. But it talks about how where it would get to the point to where, matter of fact, let me read it, because I don't like to paraphrase, especially the word, because people man, he misquote the word. Okay. In Deuteronomy 28:68, it says, "The Lord will bring you back to Egypt in ships by the way about which I have said unto you. You will never see it again." So we won't see that old Egypt again, where our forefathers saw. We won't see that one again. We're in a new Egypt here, and therefore you will offer yourselves to be for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves. Get this, but there will be no one there to buy you. Nobody will buy you. So we get to the point now to where we're not being bought, we're selling out. It's a difference. You hear what I'm saying? It's a difference from saying, you know what, I want you. I want you. You know what I'm saying? At one time, a slave was something that they wanted. Now we have volunteered to become slaves. We'll volunteer to do whatever you want me to do. I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a difference. So again, they didn't want to. People, we're trying to sell ourselves. They don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, take me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, help me. You know what I'm saying? Even the children of Egypt, David said was, the children of Israel, excuse me, they said was better in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Because our mentality is as far as we can't faith to believe better. And the thing is, we walk by faith and not by sight. So the thing is, even though we don't see it, we got to believe it, that God has called his people. And God says that if his people will humble themselves and pray and seek his face, not the face of a dollar bill, not trying to see who Thomas Jefferson is or trying to find out the Benjamin Franklins. It ain't about that. When we seek his face, he said that he will forgive our sins and that he will heal our sin. So the thing is, we just need to ask God, forgive us, God. We messed up. And once we can admit that and say, God, as a people, we're messed up. We got it wrong. We're sorry. God said, then he will bring healing to our land. So all this craziness that's going on is going to increase until we open our eyes and wake up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you go over to Matthew 5:13 through verse 16, it talks about us being the salt of the earth. And it talks about once the salt has lost its favor or its savor, you know what? Man, I'm telling you something. Once we have lost flavor, we're good for nothing. The Bible says it's good to be trod upon. It's about like the sand at the beach. It's good for nothing. It's really not good for anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely not good for table food. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so when it comes down to it, as a people, we are a light. We're supposed to be, but we're constantly walking in darkness. And it's not just so much in sin, but in being blind and not knowing the truth of who we are. This is why it says that we shall know the truth, according to John 8:32. And the truth shall make you free. You're no longer slaves. You're sons and daughters of God, man. And once we realize who we are as a people, like I said, not being told who we are, but you find out for yourself. I'm the main one that was, when I would see people talk about, the black Hebrew Israelites. Now, I'm not saying I'm one of those either, because I believe in Jesus Christ. That's that. Spiritually, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Because I realize that if you break a man's spirit, you can break the man. So spiritually, that's what I'm about. It's not so much about my dark skin. Spiritually, I realize what I in-house. As a person, as a black man, I realize what I in-house. So I'm not tripping on that. But at the same time, I'm no longer a slave, because he has made me free. I know the truth. I'm learning the truth. I'm becoming more and more free. And that's what I want my brothers and sisters to realize. You can be free if you want to. Now, either you can believe the lie that, this world will offer you the best, so be it. But as for me, I realize that the Bible, what Jesus said, the joy that I give to you will be the joy that the world can't give you. Just the fact that I can wake up in the morning, the fact that I can put 2 feet in front of the other, the fact that I can see, the fact that I can speak, the fact that I can hear, the fact that I can go to the bank and pull out a $20 bill. It ain't about me being able to pull out stacks or have all the clothes in the world. The joy of just knowing that God provides for me is enough. So as my people, like I said, I'm going to put that link down there. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I'm going to put this link down there of the Willie Lynch syndrome. And I think that people need to really read that. It really changed my mind. It really made me look at things a whole lot differently. And then when I see it scripturally, I'm saying, wait a minute. You know, we have this word or the Bible, people call it the white man religion because it's been whitewashed. My thing is this, were white people in the Bible? Yes, they were. They were there. But the thing is, it wasn't what they told us. They made Jesus white. They made Paul white. They made Moses white. They made David white. They made everybody white. I don't get it. You know, why is everybody white? But these are the people that was always being attacked. If you are white in this day and time, I don't see white people attacking white people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do they have domestic violence? Yeah, that's in every nation. But the thing is, if you look at it, we have been the ones that scattered all throughout the earth. You can't go not one place and not see somebody look like you. They might not speak your language, but they look like you. So at the end of the day, we are those people that have been scattered. And God is trying to get us back together. But the thing is, we're so divided. And we got to come back together, man. I'm going to tell you something. I got black brothers now that won't fool with me, won't even talk to me because of my past lifestyle. And that's ridiculous. Like, if I can forgive you for doing 20 years in prison, and I don't judge you, and I don't look at you as the murderer that they put on you because you killed somebody, and I can look at you differently, and I can respect you as a man, then how dare you look at me because I have a past of where I used to be with men. I used to like men. Just because I used to like men don't mean I like you. It could be something inside of you that can teach me, but since we have been so weakened, we're so scared because it's like, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We're scared of the unknown, but the unknown have to be by faith. So, man, I just want to share this with you guys today, man. I hope that you guys really, really look at it. And like I say, Good Times is one of the things that just kind of piqued my attention, you know, when I was watching it last night. It was like, man, you know, James, you know, he was happy, he was excited. And as a black woman, I encourage you, if your man get a little job eating up in that McDonald's, be proud of him. Be like, okay, boo, you know, that's just a start. Be happy for him. Don't be talking about, well, that job don't pay up $5 an hour. You know what I'm saying? I make $80,000 a year. Don't do that, because when you do that, you break the man down. And then the thing is, as soon as that somebody hits you in your face or somebody pop off, who the first person you call? You calling that same dude. And guess what? Ray hit me. But Ray was just making $5. Ray probably can't get to your house because he ain't got no gas money because you just down him $5 an hour. Come on, man. We got to start somewhere. So women, build your men up. Men, protect your women and your children. Don't you let no man come up in the house. And I don't care if you have if you're married now, you got kids with another lady. Don't let no other man come in there that is not going to be able to teach your man, your children, the right things. If that man in there smoking weed and all that, have a conversation with that baby mama or the mother of your children. Have a conversation, have a conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? Talk to her and say, look, hey, this right here ain't healthy for the kids. And look, we're trying to do things different. We're trying not to let these kids become us. So again, as black men, man, when you look at Good Times, you never seen Thelma pregnant because she had a black man that affirmed her and told her, you know what, you're a beautiful girl. You're a wonderful girl. I mean, you're beautiful. So even when men would try to get at her, James, even one episode I was watching, Good Times, but it was one episode I was watching where there was a 42-year-old man was trying to get with Thelma. She was 17. James wasn't having it. You know why? Because James was a father saying, wait a minute, what is it you a grown man want with my daughter, my young child that's impressionable? Dude, you're 42 years old. But see, we don't have any dads in the house now that's really, really willing to stand up, or because he got money, we don't say nothing because we feel like we can marry up. Man, we got to get out of that, man, because we're losing our people because of it. We're wandering in the wilderness because of it. And the promised land is like 2 steps ahead of us. And because we're wandering, we're dying off. If you read the story of Exodus, it talks about how these children was walking out and God made ways to them, gave them manna from heaven. They complained. God give us a roof over our head, but because it ain't a 5-bedroom house on a lake, we're complaining. Same thing. Every day God make a provision for us, but we complaining. His people are complaining. But they began to wander around for 40 years. And they died. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and this is what we see happening in our community, but we don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit it. We're the people that die at the thousands, a year. We're the ones that push up the tolls of death. Because God has said, I'm trying to get y'all to hear me, see what I'm trying to tell y'all, but we're not trying to see it. We're not trying to hear it, because a lot of this is down in the church, watered down by the media, and let's just keep it real. I'm just the kind of person now. I'm going to church this morning. I am, but the way I used to think about church and my experience with God is totally different. You know what I'm saying? I go to church because I understand the word says, "Do not forsake the assembling of the saints." So I'm going to go assemble with my brothers and sisters. But you know what I'm saying? I'm learning how to eat the fish and spit out the bones, keeping it real. And so I implore you to read your word. I implore you to pray. I implore you that if there's any sin in your life, ask God to forgive it. Because I'm going to tell you something, it's easier to ask God to forgive than man to forget, because man ain't going to forget nothing. They'll always remember when. I remember back in 1989, dude, I was only 10 years old. What are you talking about? When you stole that, man, come on. Man, I'm almost 40 years old. You still talking about what I did in 1993? Because let's not keep holding people hostage to their past. If people can forgive you of your past, forgive others. Because you can't get forgiveness unless you forgive others. So again, my people, let's embrace one another, man. Because we're all we got. At the end of the day, we're all we got other than God. We're all we got. And as a people, we got to come together. I love you guys, man. I hope you have a blessed Sunday. Peace.